Hello, welcome. Sorry for the delay. I had some issues with the camera again, so it was too jerky, the movement, and now finally, thankfully, it works. Also, as you can see, I'm not in my usual location tonight because my wife is in the other room and doing some loud, noisy stuff. So I had to escape to this room in which there is essentially nothing except for Lego, and now also me. So I hope it is kind of acceptable. I see it's a little bit dark, maybe. On me, try to change that. 1 second. Is that? Maybe. Anyway, thank you for thank you for being here. thank you for letting me have you. I look here sometimes and frequently, probably because that's where the laptop is tonight. Late start in the excuse trail. Thank you for being here. I hope you can hear me well. Maybe a little bit more echoey than usual. And with all that being said, tonight it's about YouTube here. And I've been doing YouTube for more than 4 years already. That means I collected a lot of gear. And I think I can start with the boring stuff, which is, of course, one, the bag. So this is my camera backpack. It's a low pro, I forgot the exact name, Pro Tactic 350 AW2. And it's pretty good. It's like a hard case, so it protects the camera even if I may accidentally sit on it or so. And it has quite some space and compartments. You can see that. Some stuff in there still. And yeah, that's pretty nice. The voice not clear. Haircut looks cool. Thanks. Wait, let me go closer. Let's see. Let me bring this in a little more. In a second. This is my microphone, in case you're wondering, since you're talking out here. Let me know if you can hear me better now. Now it's right in front of me, and you can also see it. Let me know if it's better. Okay, excellent. So this is my microphone, one of my microphones, but I will talk about this in a minute. Next, very boring stuff is batteries. I have so many batteries. You will learn soon that I have essentially 3 cameras I use, and I have batteries for each and every one of them. And this is like annoying, but the last thing you want to do is go somewhere, like a remote place, and then run out of batteries. I also have like standard, also AAA or so batteries, the small ones, for my voice recorder, for one of my voice recorders, which I will also talk about in a second. Another thing that is not to be underestimated is makeup. So I have this is my makeup department. It's like a concealer. And a friend actually told me, like, if you have anything like a pimple or so on, just use that. It's not like you want to make yourself more pretty than you are, but it's something that gets people distracted, and you don't want that. You want them to focus on the content, and that's why. Then, these were some of the things I got pretty early on. So batteries, not these ones, but batteries in general, and this concealer thing. Another thing I got rather early on is this. It's a voice recorder. It's a Zoom H4n voice recorder. It's very clumsy, as you can see, but it's also very powerful. So there's 2 microphones up here and 2 XLR inputs for professional microphones down here. So it can record up to 4 audio streams at the same time. I never used these though. And this is still, I feel these 2 are the best sounding microphones I have. So when I do voiceovers, I use that usually. Like this, probably. But also the interviews, if you want to. I have another voice recorder though, which is smaller. It's the Zoom H1n. And it's much more limited, but also has these 2 on top, which I never use, and a microphone in. And I would use that usually if I'm outside. So you use a lapel mic. It's this kind of small microphone. It goes here to the lapel, lavalier mic, it's also called, connected to this one, then I go. So audio is very important for video. Just checking messages. If you go somewhere and you remember your batteries and the camera and everything looks nice, but you don't hear anything, that's just as bad. So then just you standing in front of the camera without audio, pretty bad. Or just the camera audio, which is usually too far away, way over there right here. And then you have lots of echo and you hear all the surroundings, and depending on where you are, this may work, but most likely it won't. That's that. I also have this. It's called a dead cat. It's not actually a dead cat, but apparently looks like a dead cat. It's furry and gets on top of this one here. So if it's really windy and I want to, for example, interview somebody, then I this I can also take this here if you want. So that's that. And now let's talk about the stuff I don't use anymore, which is this. This is a gimbal, a stabilizer for phone. And I bought this before I could afford, I guess, a bigger gimbal for my camera, even though I wanted it. So I bought it for the phone. I thought it would be great. However, I used it only once in one video. Now you can guess which one. But yeah, the thing is, your phone, where is it? Here's my phone. The phone camera is used when you don't have anything else, right? So you have the great camera, this one here, or some others, which I will show you in a second, and you forget them or you didn't bring them. So you have your phone and use it. But if you remember to bring this to plug your phone in, then you also remember to bring the big camera, right? So that's why this is never used for me. So it's just collecting dust and probably will break in some time. I do have, though, a bigger gimbal now, a bigger stabilizer, which is this one here, the Zion Weevil S. So far, I also have used it, I think, twice or so. For one video that's not yet published, and then for the one video which I did in Togashi in Snow Mountains, if you remember that. It was like, I think, 2 videos back. And this is very, very nice, very powerful. It has this stand, which can also like act as a grip handle, and you can screw it off and screw it here, and then you can have it like an underslung mode, so you can go very low, and it's also easier to carry, or you can have it to support this kind of structure more. So this one, like it a lot. Haven't used it enough yet, but I guess once I go more to film like inside, for example, house tour or for my room tour, I use it once, I think. So house tour, or I go to a hotel and show that as well, which may come soon. Then I use this gimbal. Yes, that's a Zion gimbal. No, it's yes, it is. Yes, it is. So there's essentially the two big gimbal companies. One is Zion, which is I don't pronounce it correctly, but I call it Zion. But Zion is the one that I use, and then the other big one is DJI. Speaking of, should we go there already? No, not yet. Not yet to the cameras. For now, it's tripods. So I have many tripods. Currently, this camera is standing on a Manfrotto travel tripod, I think. You see? You can see that if I show you in here. Do you see this? This is the tripod. I bought this last year when I was in Nagano, and I didn't bring anything, just my camera. And then I turned out I wouldn't stay for a week, I would stay for 3 months. So I bought this tripod. And it's kind of good. It was way better than what I had before. I had like an aluminum $20 cheapest thing tripod, which kind of worked, but this one is totally different league. It has some issues, for example, in order to screw something, to tighten the legs, for example, you pull them out and then you tighten them. You have like a rotating thing, and you don't really know when it's closed when you look at it because it looks the same everywhere. And sometimes it's open, then it falls to one side or so on. Almost fell on my younger one. And yeah, so I decided to get another one yet again. But before that, I also have some smaller stuff. I have this one. That's Joby Gorilla Pod, which is very flexible, but also very broken already. So it doesn't support a lot of weight anymore. I use it just to hold this mic usually, nothing else. And I got this one also very early in maybe early 2017. And I don't like it actually. Because I find when I want a tripod, then I want like eye level or so. So I want to talk to you, right? And I don't want to talk down on you, I want it to be here. And this one is not made for that, except if you find somewhere to put it on or to like wrap it around and so on. And this takes so much time and is not satisfying, so I almost never used it. I do use this one though. It's a smaller tripod. Again, it's more rigid, so it's easier to pull down actually. And then in connection with that, I use this. This is a selfie stick, so I can extend this, and then you have like a decent level of height for shots. For example, when I'm passing by, I walk by or so. So usually when I have like a sequence where I progress from one place to another, I would use this and this. It's also very small and lightweight. And now let me quickly check your comments. Thank you, yes. Why is the audio so bad still? Oh no, oh no. I don't know. I don't know why. When you speak, also a lot of noise picking up or just white noise. Maybe because the laptop is heating. It's the fan is going on. It should not pick up so much actually. Let me see if it's correctly. Should be. So let me know if it's unbearable, then I will try to restart the stream. But until then, let's try some more. Sounds like camera mic, not separate mic. Oh, interesting. But the camera is picking up this, so if you can hear this well, then it is the non-camera mic. Otherwise, let me quickly change to the lapel mic and see how that sounds, since we have all the gear here. Okay, let me know how it sounds now, if it changed anything. Then you can move this again. So let me know if it sounds better, if you can hear me. I see. I'm wondering why YouTube is not picking it up. Maybe YouTube is not using this camera's mic actually, but it's using the laptop's mic. Let me try that. So is it sounding better now? Please let me know. If that's the case. Okay, then I will try to connect this lapel mic to the laptop and then see how it goes. Okay, so if you can hear me now well, please let me know. This is kind of acceptable. Hear you great. You got slide static. Okay. But that sounds much better than before. Let me see. YouTube is showing. Give me one more second. How's it now? What? Wait. It's good now. It's the same sound. Okay. Well, I mean, if you can hear me hopefully better now than before, that's still less than perfect. Okay. I mean, let me know if it's too bad. If it doesn't sound well, then I will restart the stream and make sure this time it actually takes the cameras. And yeah, Sapka Daddy, good to have you here. Okay, so as long as nobody's complaining, I will continue talking now. Okay, then since Daniel says it's not perfect but far from hard to hear or understand, I will continue. So these were the two tripods, two basic tripods. Now today I got a new tripod, which is this one. It's a Peak Design travel tripod, which is very nice, very high quality, carbon fiber, super expensive, but super fast to set up. Feels great so far, and I can't wait to use it outside. Yeah, really. Who would have thought you can be excited about a tripod? Exactly, Senpai knows what I'm talking about. So this in Japan, this cost like $900, and then I bought it in the US, and that's like $600. So that's still a lot of money for something that holds your camera. But I got so frustrated recently with this one that I showed you before, the Manfrotto Travel, which was about $100, that I now decided to go with this one. With that bendy tripod, can you wrap the legs around things like tree branches? Yes, I can. I can. So this one here. But I mean, it still has limits, of course, so to how thick the tree branches can be. So maybe around like this. It's yeah. And then you have to, if you wrap it like this, and then it does like flip around or so, it's not great, I think. So I much prefer this kind of tripod. It's also not so heavy. It's like 1.2 or 1 to 3 kilos. So you can almost have the camera on top of this and then just vlog like that. I know some people do that. So if your camera is not that heavy, I guess you can do that. Now, speaking of cameras, we're almost there. Only one more thing is light. Light is also very important, as you may imagine. And I have a big light from Falcon Eyes over there, which is really hard to show you now. So I won't. You just have to believe me. And I have this one here, which is an Aperture MC light. It gets reasonably bright. And the nice thing is you can change colors and effects and things like that. For example, fire. Can you see that? No, it's just bright light. Okay. Fire. It's warm. Fire, or I mean, not that I have ever used that, but in theory, cop car. You could do anything with it. Now, what I use it for usually is if I put it in my background, usually have like bluish black background or so. That's why I use it. That's what it usually is. Or as a fill light if I am outside or so, or if I'm in a cave, which happens, then I put this on the camera and then at least you can see me somehow. It doesn't look spectacular like with a lot of depth and 3D and so on, but you can see me. And in that case, that's pretty good. And another light I have is this one here, which I bought for like 20 bucks or so off Amazon. I don't remember why. It's actually pretty good. So it uses this kind of standard battery thing. And this one lasts for a couple of hours. So usually for a shoot, it's fine. For a live stream, it's fine. And it can adjust intensity. You can adjust the, what is that? The warmth. I can say it's like the Kelvin to 5600, which is daylight. And then you can see that probably not sharp. I will focus. Which is daylight, and then can go down or up as you wish. Yes, so that's all. One more thing. Earphones also important for editing. I have the Bose Quiet Comfort, which are so-so. I mean, I like them. I think the audio is okay. They're very comfortable, as the name says. So that's why I actually bought them. The Bluetooth is something I don't like so much because it has a little lag, which can be annoying when you try to cut precisely on music, like beat, done, and so you try to cut, and it's actually delayed by a couple of frames. So then I have to connect them by a wire, which defeats the purpose of Bluetooth speakers or headphones a bit, but, well, still like them. Yeah, that's that. Now cameras, finally. I have my biggest camera, the one I like the most, and the one I think looks the best is, now I have to use my broken mirror again. Did I break it just now? Maybe. Is this one here. This is the Panasonic GH5, which is already 4 years old now. So it was released 4 years ago. But it's great. It has the same features most of the current cameras have. Like 4K 60 recording or 10-bit color depth. And I can connect it just by HDMI and hook it into my computer for live streaming and all that. 2 SD card slots, which is very nice. So I can just 1, 2, and then record from when the first one is full, then it records the second one, or it does automatic backups. A lot of things that are really useful. And the only thing it cannot do well is autofocus, which is a shame. 2 things actually, autofocus and low light. Low light is still pretty okay, though not like a full frame camera, which would be better, but it's okay. And but autofocus is unusable, I think. But apart from that, it's nice. Now I have 2 more cameras. I use actually 3. I use regularly. The first one you already saw. That's my phone. I try to use it as little as possible because it's just not good. I mean, it's phone. It's a phone. That means it has a lot of saturation usually. Good night, Senpai. Thank you for having been here. What storage do you keep your videos for your videos? Large external hard drives. Yes, let me answer that right now. So I have in total, I think 11 or wait, calculate that. Something like 11, 12 or so terabytes of storage. Was it 11? Was it 20? I think 19 actually terabytes. And currently I'm using 14 of that. So I never delete anything. And then I have a small, very fast SSD from Samsung, 1 terabyte. It's so expensive, so it's just 1 terabyte. And there, on this one, I have the projects I'm working on. So I have a small, fast one, and then big, slow ones. For once I'm done, I put it there. That's how I store it. Now back to camera, phone, oversaturated. Can only do 30 FPS, not 24, which is usually what I use. Everything is in focus, so it doesn't have shallow depth of field or so. And low light is terrible. All in all, not a great camera, but better than no camera. And if the daylight is there, if it's bright, then I can use it. And some of my videos have been shot on a phone, and some of my most successful videos have also. So I think my third most successful video is called Japanese House Tour, which was spontaneous. We visited this house to take a look, and I thought, maybe I can take a picture. I asked if I can take a picture. I took a video and made this, and it got so many views. So actually, camera doesn't matter so much. Then two more cameras are there. This one here, this is the Osmo Action. So this is from DJI, which I mentioned before. It's an action cam, like a GoPro. Here, this is it. It is pretty nice, I think. It's not as pricey as a GoPro, and it has screen on the back. You can see me. You could see me if it wasn't focused. And it has also screen on the front. Yeah, you can see that. The audio of this thing itself is not so bad for its size. It's still not great, of course, but you have it close usually. And if you are in a quiet environment, it works pretty well. It has excellent stabilization, so that's great. Low light is non-existing, so same as the phone. Can't use it for that. The angle is very wide, so I sometimes use that as well. And the image quality is not good. If you want to change the image, that is. So if you want to get an okay shot very quickly, for example, for my day in the live video, I used it a bit when I was in the supermarket or at the sushi place. That's good. So just put it there, press play, press record, and everything is in focus. It's so wide that most likely you'll cover what you want. That's perfect. The quality of the image is not so good. Not good enough to give you a lot of room for changes. So if you want to color correct or so, I don't recommend it too much. I also have this little thing which is ridiculously overpriced, but it's a connector for audio. So you can plug it in here, and now I can connect a microphone, which is very helpful if I want like better audio. And now the last camera, and then we can finally go over into the usual part where we talk freely, is this one. This is an RX 100 Mark V. It has this flip-up screen. 4K, very capable for its size. It's a, what was that? It's an 1.8 to 2.8 lens, f1.8 to 2.8 lens. On a, I think, what was that? Let me check. 24 to 70 millimeter. Equivalent. So low light performance, not that bad with f1.8. This is a 1-inch sensor. That means f1.8 on, which is the how much the lens opens to let more light in. This does not mean the same as, for example, on this bigger camera, unfortunately. But it's still better, much better than, for example, this or my phone. And this is something I use when I'm inside as well. So, for example, in a restaurant or something, then you probably don't want to take out your big beefy setup, but you want something small and compact. And one more thing is it does not have a microphone in. So that means you have to either use these two up here or use an external recorder. Many parts of my video with Victor, when we went up the mountain 2 videos back, was shot with this when we were inside of the restaurant. There was one shot or so with this camera, and the rest with this. Your explanations are clear and easy to understand compared to my college teachers. Good, that's something. Then, of course, for this camera here, I also have a couple of lenses. Currently, you are seeing my favorite lens, which is a Sigma 60mm f1.4, which means it's very good in low light. And 60 millimeter this is a sensor that has a 2x crop, a micro four thirds sensor, which means it's usually we talk in full frame equivalent. So the full frame cameras, which have a bigger sensor, and this micro four thirds is smaller. And in full frame, this would be a 32, which is already a very cinematic, if you will, size. So it looks usually pretty good on me, I think at least. And then on top of this lens, because it opens so much, it's f1.4, that means it will let a lot of light in and allow me to have blurry background, essentially. Oh, if you see that, my hand here is already blurry, right? So everything that's kind of here somewhere, it should be in focus. Here it's not, behind me it's not. But if I do this more, like turn this up, I can show you. If I do this more, then it gets more blurry and way too bright. And of course, we don't want way too bright, but we still want blurry. Not too blurry, but kind of. So I have this. This is an ND filter, which is essentially like sunglasses for a lens. And it's variable, so I can like make it darker or brighter. I actually forgot the name of it's called Zomme, maybe not, yeah, not very popular brand, yeah, but it works, does the job, and I use it quite often, especially when I shoot inside and outside, not anywhere. Another lens I like a lot is this one from Panasonic. It's 12 to 60. It has a lot of range. Oh, it's out, but in. It is not the best low light performer, but it's very cheap. It's like €400, $400 if you buy it new, and if used, this one was used $200. Great performer. Is there a camera mount point on that one? This one here, you mean this camera? No, it does not have a cold shoe or hot shoe, anything, unfortunately. Another lens I have is this. This is a Canon lens. It's a 50mm f1.8. It has a speed booster attached to it that allows me to connect it to my to my Panasonic camera, and also makes this 1.8 a 1.3, which is very nice. And one more is this one here. It's a very big lens, and it's a super wide lens. It's 11 to 20mm for Canon again. So I also have to use the speed booster. And that's all. So 4 lenses I use. Mostly I use this one you see here, and in the recent time this one. And when I'm outside, often this one, because it's outside, it's bright, and usually I don't want to change lenses a lot, so this one gives me the most use. This one gives me the most flexibility. And that's that. We are almost essentially done. There is this one here, microphone you saw before, one that wasn't picked up, and this mic stand. Let's finish it here. So if you want to talk about anything else but gear, let me know. The cat microphone, exactly. Okay, I bring it in here anyway. It is Rode Video Micro, which is from Rode. It's a pretty popular microphone maker, especially among YouTubers, I think. And the nice thing about this is it does not need any batteries. You just plug it in, and then it's phantom powered. That's what it's called, which means it gets the energy it needs from the camera. Yeah, it's kind of the entry level of this company, but I think it's kind of okay for YouTube. And this mic stand I bought at Hard Off. It's called Hard Off. There's this group of stores that's ending in off. For example, Book Off is the most popular, so they sell cheap or second-hand books. And then there's also like Mode Off, which would be dress, Mode in German, like clothing, and hardware, where I got this mic stand. I forgot how much it was, maybe $40 or so. Many years ago. Are we streaming in low resolution or out of focus? Maybe out of focus. Let me try to fix that. Tough one here. Wait a second. Right about here. Wait a second. No. I guess. Come back. This should be more in focus now. Hopefully. If not, then it's then it is low resolution. So today we have so many technical issues. First the mic, now the low resolution. Thank you, 13 people for still being here anyway. Oh, you can see that here I need a shave. Yeah, let me change it again. No. Yeah, actually I would like to shave, but I started a video with this and it's not finished yet. It should be finished, but then I saw exactly this issue. One scene I shot was out of focus, so I have to do it again tomorrow, and until then, no shaving. Too bad. Yeah, it looks also better here. Should have done this earlier. Maybe I think, yeah, I did focus or so, but then I changed the batteries and reset or something. Something like that. Excellent. So now I see the focus about here. So it should be maybe my nose. That's something. The good old beard continuity errors. Yeah, exactly. I have a continuity in the error in the video already. And in one scene I wear a white t-shirt and the next one a navy one. You just see it like this. It's just a little bit like the red. So it's kind of okay. I also pick it up in the video, so maybe it's okay. Yes, can't be helped. And German people's beard is obviously good looking. Of course. Except mine. Because it's too patchy, I feel. Like here is almost nothing. Here's okay. Well, what do you want to do? What a handsome man. Thank you. Sotne Karebashvili. It's hard to pronounce. Johannes looks so young now. Yeah, thanks. Because of the patchy beard, I guess. I live in Suzuka, in Mie Prefecture. I would like to invite you to my house whenever you come across Mie. Thank you, thank you. Mie Prefecture, I've been in 2015, I think the last time, went to Iga. Who would have thought to throw shuriken and to ninjas, like dress up like ninjas, was quite fun. So let me Google where Suzuka is. No, not this one. So Google Maps shows me Suzuka, which is next door to Nagano City, but that's not the one. Yeah, perfect. I see. Okay. Thank you for the invitation. Any updates regarding whether the Olympics will be a thing or not? No, I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know they changed their president or whatever the position was called because of being old and sexist. Not old, just sexist, I think. Happens. I guess it will happen. I think nobody expects them not. Most people expect them to happen. Let me rearrange a bit. Most people expect them to happen this year, albeit probably not with foreign guests, visitors as guests, but only foreign athletes who maybe most probably will be vaccinated and tested before everything. Oh, I pronounced it well. Excellent. Excellent. Near Suzuka Formula One racing track. Oh, I have no idea about Formula One, but now I know one more thing. Suzuka Formula. Oh. I'm thinking when I Google things like that, it's totally, you can't follow probably because you don't see my screen. So probably at some point I should get like software or hardware to switch that. Perhaps picture in picture or something. Have you seen the Nikon Coolpix P900? These models, they're those models that let you zoom in to the moon surface. No, but probably not the most common use case for me. Actually, the first camera I bought, a kit, which is like a camera and then a kind of medium to low price lens, usually with it. And this was a zoom lens, I think 18 to 120 or something like that. So I thought, yeah, I need zoom. No, I don't need zoom. I don't need zoom. So this one, 60 millimeter is fine. It satisfies my zoom needs from most of the things. Sometimes I wish I could get closer, but not often frequent enough to justify getting a P900 or something, or even another lens. But this one's not too expensive, eh? Just like 50,000 yen, $500 or so. I read that 85% of Tokyo's population are against having Olympics this year. I didn't know that. Interesting. Huh. But understandable. I mean, for both, because if people come, then the coronavirus comes, if we let in tourists, right? Or if only the athletes come, then the tourists don't. They don't bring the money. Also not great. So I get it. For foreigners, it's pretty hard to pronounce Georgian words. To try to say church, should I say it in English? Church keller. It's probably English. Maybe it's hard to say. Church keller, or in German would be Kirchkeller. That's right. So you can take videos of Kyoto from Tokyo at that zoom level. Oh, excellent. That's what I always wanted to do. I guess there's some mountains in between or so. Yeah. Probably. Yeah, peek on your neighbors or something. Probably not neighbors, but the people in the next city or ward or something. But yeah, I don't know. Like as I said, I don't necessarily have the use case for that. And currently, probably if I would buy another piece of gear, it would be a drone, I guess. So yeah, I feel like would be nice to have, especially now when I cover more of Nagano, to not only have like the ground level but also above. So recently, yesterday and day before yesterday, I talked to a friend who has a ryokan here, Japanese hotel, and I asked her if I could come and make a video about it, and she said, "Sounds good." So, and for that also it would be nice to have like the top-down view. But oh, thank you so much, Tanya, as always, for drone fund. Oh, thank you. By the way, I bought a tea finally. I took $10 and bought. So we went on, when was that? Saturday. We went to a friend of us who has a tea store, and yeah, got some for 1,000 yen. And he would also be great. So his store is fantastic because from the outside it looks like you're not even sure if it's still operational because it's so run down. So like the lights hanging down, everything is like washed out, and the building is old. If you get inside, it's like so packed. You can get in, but you don't have a lot of room. So you walk in this like narrow path. But he has great products in there, like fantastic teas and the teapots and even sake and all that. And then he's really talkative, as in not overwhelming, but just likes to communicate. And then he makes you tea and have you drink, and then you talk, how have you been, and this and that, how's life. And it was great catching up. I went with my wife and said, we should. I told her I want to go there, but she's like, it's already lunchtime, and if we go there, we won't get out for a long time. But it was great, and I got the tea. He would also be a great character to cover. So he has this tea shop. He's driving motorbike, and he practices kendo for decades. So it would be interesting, but maybe one day. So again, Daniel, thank you as always. Do you know what laws are like in Japan regarding flying drones? Yes. Essentially, you are not allowed to fly in densely populated areas. That includes all of Tokyo, essentially, and also Nagano City, many parts of Nagano City. And you have to have a distance of people, I think 30 meters, or was it 50, something like that. Cannot go higher than 150 meters. You have to be in the drone has to be in eyesight, like in line of sight. You have to be able to see the drone. What else was there? Oh yeah, airports. You have to stay away from airports or military areas and so on. I think that covers it roughly. If you go to like DJI websites or something, they have maps where you can see where you can fly. No, they're not. What's that? They consider to make, like, I think, a license or so even. They have to take a test, I think. And so currently the drone law is, I think, still that anything that is flying and is heavier than 200 gram or heavier, it's a drone. So that means there's the DJI, what's it called? DJI Mini? No, Mavic Mini. It's certainly called Mavic. Anyway, the Mavic Mini and Mavic Mini 2, which are 199 gram, exactly for this purpose. They don't. Most of the laws don't apply to them. Some do, but most don't. Some don't fly drunk. No, actually, I think it also doesn't apply. But some laws do apply, some don't. However, they want to lower this barrier to 100 grams. So then you still have to abide the law. And of course, it makes you're still in the legal barriers when you fly this kind of lightweight drones, but you still get into trouble because then if the police sees you, you still have to talk to them and explain about that. So don't make trouble, and then you'll be safe in any case. And I would like to have this kind of small drone, then, yeah, because it fits my backpack. What is your favorite food in Japan? For Japanese food, Wagyu, of course. Wagyu is great. So I like sushi also if it's good. But generally, I like what was it called? The kaiseki, if it tells you something. So like multi-course cuisine. Japanese style, which may be totally different depending on where you are. Yeah, but this kind of thing, which is like you go to a ryokan, a traditional Japanese restaurant, hotel usually, and then you get dinner and breakfast included usually, and that's this kind of thing. Like you get like so many things, and often so many courses, so change and change and change. That's the kind of thing I like. Yeah, and it's like it takes so much time, and it's kind of celebrating the food, just because you give it so much time and attention, and I like that a lot, the most, I think. Even though, so for example, if I would go to this hotel I mentioned before, this Japanese hotel, run by a friend of us, I went there. So when I went there for seminars, it was usually 1 week or 8 days, and it was the same. So this kind of food 3 times a day, and after a week or so, it's okay to not have it anymore. So get some change, not have rice for breakfast every day. So I like it. I love it, but still, every now and then, a little change is nice. What is the topic of the next video a surprise? No, you want to know it? Little Kyoto of Michinoku. Michinoku. It's nice. I will take a look later. Thank you. How's it going? Different background today. Yes, different background because my wife is in the other room and she's noisy. She's sewing, so I had to leave. This room is essentially empty, so maybe you can hear it a little bit from the echo. And yeah, I just put everything here tonight. Do those rules apply to kites and other things? I guess to some extent. Probably you can't kite over like populated areas, I guess. Kites are this small. I know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess like toy kite, right? Because I guess toy kite, like the taco in Japanese, is I guess they're lighter than 200 grams, probably. And I also guess you won't get into problems. I also don't know if there's like something that says it's electronic or something. I guess. Yeah. Is marrying to Japanese the only way to get citizenship? No, it's not. So citizenship and being married is not connected. Or maybe connected for you, but it's not. Being married is not a requirement, and it's also no guarantee. What about also a permanent visa is not a requirement. You can, in fact, you may even be able to get naturalized before you apply to or can, maybe even before you can apply to a permanent visa. What's my favorite international food? Oh, schnitzel. Schnitzel. Because I'm from Germany, I like schnitzel. So battered cutlet, probably. So from the calf. It's a little bit sad. Yeah, what is average cost of health insurance? What is price increase when you turn 40 and old people tax payment is required? I have no idea, actually. I would have to look that up. Probably, I don't know. I would have to guess totally. I mean, it's mentioned on my payslip, but I don't have it in my head. I guess around 10%, but that's solely guess. Maybe it's less. I don't know if it also includes pension payment. Yeah. But depends, of course. Yeah, I'm not sure. And I don't know if it changes a lot. Probably not if you get older. I think so. But I don't know. And DJI Mini 2 is 249 grams. That's correct, outside of Japan. But in Japan, it's 299. And they cut this off the battery, which means the flight time is like only 18 minutes or 10, like half as long. Which social media is the most used in Japan? Technically, everywhere is Facebook, but nobody uses it. Yes, exactly. I think Twitter, maybe. YouTube, I have no idea. So I like Twitter, actually. Most Facebook, yeah. Nobody I know uses Facebook anymore, except for like sometimes checking for friend updates. Also, maybe using the Messenger. But of course, Instagram is also Facebook, and WhatsApp is also Facebook. But yeah, just Jägerschnitzel. I don't like Jägerschnitzel. Of course, there's Line. Yes, Line is there. Line is yeah. It's also social network, which is. I mean, I guess most people use it for chat and maybe making calls, but it also has social media functionality. I never use that, but yeah. Can you eat natto? I can, but I don't. So I can every now and then. I have the feeling like I should eat natto now, but I don't eat. It's never enough to bring me through the whole thing. So I had like, yeah, I don't. I can eat it, but I don't if I can avoid it. Can or want to? Exactly. Can, yes, want to, no. I have a lot of headspace today. That's this space here. That's because I slouch now. Now it's better. Also, this room does not have heating, so I had to bring my hot carpet here, and it's kind of okay still. I even brought other things, like blankets over here, just in case, but so far, not bad. Line in Japan seems to have additional functionality than here in the US. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can pay with it or something. Oh yeah, I don't know what functionality it has in the US, of course. But there's Line Pay, which is pretty popular. And yeah, you can pay, you can send money to your friends and all that. So that's good. I don't use it, though. Looks like lol. Headspace, I guess. Yeah. Natto is rich in ingredients that are good for the body. Yeah, it also contains vitamin K2, which is really hard to get outside of fermented soybeans. It boosts the immune system. It keeps you young and keeps your body from getting sick. Let's eat natto every day. Yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, actually, true. I mean, natto has a lot of healthy stuff inside. And generally, like the traditional Japanese food is, I think, for the most part, pretty healthy. What is the biggest surprise about life in Japan and the biggest letdown? For me, both were the same. How conservative and old-fashioned thinking in Japan is. Oh yeah, I can feel that. It still is. Yeah, it still is. I mean, of course, there's change, but it always needs time. I think what's the most shocking to me and surprising is the use of plastic, non-reusable plastic. Like, why do we need to wrap one banana into plastic, and so on. Now it's getting better, of course, because there's more awareness, I think, and you have to pay for the plastic bags in the supermarket. So that's good. It's not a lot, like 2 yen, 3 yen or so, but still more and more people bring their eco bags or the non-plastic bags. So that's an improvement. But still, there's a long way to go, I think. So they still have plastic straws in many areas. They have the ear pick thing, Q-tip, it's called in Germany, I don't know. And so on. So a lot of one-way plastic is still there. And it's also very common to wrap things, of course, because it's light and so on. And if you go, that happens a lot. So I feel there's a lot of garbage that's not necessary. And coming here first, which was before, like, long time ago, before all these recent changes, this was very shocking and surprising. And other than that, let me think. A strong hierarchy, which I don't know if it's like old-fashioned thinking necessarily, but yeah, that was surprising, really. Like how it's shown even in the body and structure, like people go and all that. That was surprising, shocking a little bit in two directions. Because my Aikido teacher, who was Japanese, he always emphasized on like stretching and upright posture and making yourself big and so on, and which is great in any case and good for your health and all that. But it's even more revolutionary, if you may, if I then realized, for somebody coming from a culture where it's more common to bow and lower yourself than, for example, in Germany. Don't fall for it. They torture people by serving them natto. I didn't know that. Yeah, but in Japan you get the soy sauce and mustard to it, so then you can mix it and it's better. My children, the older one, I think, eats natto when that's in there. If not, then not. Is Japan more likely conservative or liberal? So the ruling party, which has ruled for quite some extensive period, is conservative. And usually when the prime minister changes, that's recently because of the last one, Abe Shinzo, because of health issues or because some power fights inside of the party, not because of votes. Most likely not because of votes. Plastic bags cost money for over a decade in most European countries. Yeah, that's correct. Natto with mustard, yuck, mustard. Yeah, mustard. Some say yuck, natto. Yuck, natto in my mustard, or to my mustard. The whole be lower height than superiors don't work for me. Being 103 is simply impossible. Yeah, no, I don't mean lower height, but lowering yourself. That's like expressed in how you, not like in your body height. Obviously, you don't cut off your legs, so, but in how you present yourself and all that. If that makes sense, I'm looking for a better word. It's hard to say. Behavior, essentially, like how you are allowed to pass somewhere or do something and so on. And of course, also how you speak, because you lower yourself and you hire them by the words you use. And if somebody's a customer, then they're always higher, of course. Right. And yeah, usually the polite older people tend to be more polite, I feel, also in customer service. They use more polite speech. And some people don't use it. That's very impolite. Then I always feel like, is it because I'm a foreigner? Maybe. Because they may assume that because they use the dictionary form, which is like casual, then it's easier for me to understand. Which it maybe, actually. Still, I feel like, why? Groveling before the king, like that? Yeah, kind of like that, but of course not precisely like that. So you don't get on your knees or anything, usually, depending on the environment, of course. But um, depending on the environment, of course, I should explain it. So if you're on your knees already, like in a tea ceremony or so, then of course you also do the bow and so on your knees. Or if you're really, really, really fucked up and have to apologize, then you should also go on your knees and you get really low. But even that doesn't happen so frequently anymore. But often, if like businesses make a really big mistake, like for example, 2 years ago there was 7Pay released from 7-Eleven payment service, and they had like a really gaping security hole or something, and pretty soon it was found out. So then like 2 or 3 people had to apologize, and a press conference. They weren't kneeling in Caesar sitting there, but on the table, and they were like really low and have to hold it really long, and then everybody's take pictures and so on. So it's pretty embarrassing, I guess. That would be something that is close to that. Also, if celebrities have some scandal or so, and then they apologize to their fans, they have let down and all that. That's there. Yeah. And sometimes it's like I mean, yes, they made a mistake and so on, but at some point you have to let it go, I think. But here, I think the tendency is if you messed up once, then your career is kind of over in entertainment. I'm thinking of an entertainer who was quite popular called Becky, and she, half Japanese, and she had some affair with some married man or something. And that then was found out. Maybe she also said, no, I don't have it or something, some lie. No. And then, yeah, career over and essentially over. She's like appearing every now and then still, like once a year. So she's on TV maybe. But yeah, that happens. And that's kind of very, maybe strict is not the right word, but it's like you're out. Prostrate oneself, I see. It seems like foreigners are given passes on some of these less respectful actions. Yeah, definitely. Especially tourists, you don't have to really take care of that. Nobody's expecting you to know. I mean, how would you? Still, don't be an idiot, right? Look what everybody else is doing, because it reflects on you and your country. And of course, there might be generalizations. For example, when I walk through Nagano, every now and then I see kids and they say, oh, there's an American, because I'm white. So if I mess up, then people may say Americans are bad or so. But so there may be this kind of generalization. If you behave bad, so give your best. But still, if you mess up some small things or so, nobody cares, or nobody tells you. And yeah, it's not bad. But of course, if you stay here for some time, and people get to know you, and you still don't adapt, then maybe you should think about that and improve. I'm also an international who is married to a Japanese and living in Japan since 2015. Oh, nice. We could relate in many things. That's why I would like to invite you to my home. Like to invite you home. Kindly keep in touch through Instagram. Okay, sure. Those Haku jeans. Yeah, Caucasians. Yeah, I'm here since 2016, by the way. So you're the senpai. Yeah, I felt one time I was sitting in a restaurant in Tokyo, very exhausted, beef restaurant. And then I was the only Caucasian. And then Americans came, I think, most likely Americans from the accent. And they were so loud, so loud. And it was like some kind of side street $10 lunch, beef restaurant, and she wanted to know if there was Kobe beef very loudly, and I felt very embarrassed because, of course, I kind of identified with them. Yeah, that was not so positive. Sometimes you just can't win as a foreigner. On my first trip to Japan, I was on a bumpy bus ride and caught an old woman falling. She cursed me out for touching her. Oh, that's unfortunate. I remember one bumpy bus ride I was on from Kyoto to outside of Kyoto, to a hotel outside of Kyoto. Two of my friends got in one row, and I was standing, but then there was one guy in the back who was like, come here, there's an empty place, and I stood next to him. And then he talked to me in Japanese for like 1 hour or so until the final destination where we left. And it was interesting. I kind of understood what he was going on about. I didn't say so much because I couldn't. And I also heard that he didn't speak the standard Japanese because like some words, even I back then realized some structures didn't make sense from what I knew. So that was interesting and also fun. And there also sometimes there are just these people that just talk to you, and that's so great because they don't try to go easy on you because you're foreigner, so they don't try to speak in English, which may be most likely worse than your Japanese, and so on. So that's the best. Happens mostly, to me at least, with older people though. Next time she felt I did nothing and she was told off by the bus driver. That's so bad. Poor lady. A few years ago, there was a scandal about one of the voice actors of the Yakuza video games because they used cocaine. Even the character they voiced in the game was replaced. Oh, no. Not even the character was replaced. Yeah, drugs are, of course, not good here. So, weed or cocaine, oh my god. But it's a Yakuza game, so maybe it would be okay to keep it. Yes, I did it. Hi, everybody. Hey, PT. Good to have you here. Yeah, today I started much later. Usually I start like 9:30-ish. Today was 11:25, 11:30 almost. And greetings back to Czechia. Yeah, there's so many. Japan has so much to offer. And I think back of this trip back then, I should travel much more. That's what I'm thinking actually. So especially now, the thing is, people that come to Japan as tourists travel the country much, much more than people that live here, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because you probably don't travel to your home country a lot either. I didn't. I one time intentionally took a tourist bus in Munich, where I'm from, because I wanted to get to know it, and I forgot most of it, but at least I tried. But also in Germany, there are probably a lot of places that tourists like, but I don't mind going there. Why should I? I don't bother going there. Why should I? And same, Japan, of course, a little bit different because I live here now, but still, you live here, you work, and then you have some time off, and then you don't have a lot of that. So you consider, like, should I be with my family or go somewhere? And then maybe only one place a year. When you come here as a tourist, you have 2-3 weeks, and you get like the tour from Tokyo to Kyoto to Hiroshima, maybe Okinawa or so, Hokkaido, and so all that. Most people living here never do that. My wife is Japanese, as you may know, and she's same age as me, 33, and she's never been to Tohoku. Can you believe it? Or Hokkaido. So essentially, anything more northern than where we are now, she hasn't been. And she's been here for quite some time. I think the Japanese criminal justice system needs improvement based on what I've heard. Yeah, based on what I've heard, it's the same. So things like they can keep you for 24 hours and you don't have the right for a call. That's kind of a little bit scary. Imagine I don't come home for a day. What my wife would think. And of course, like the 99% or so conviction rate. So once that you get indicted, I think that's the term, you will most likely be convicted. That's also not so great. And then, of course, if you do, then you stay in prison here, and after you're out, you have to leave the country because you get deported. You'll learn there is scheduled start times, and Johannes start time. Yes, especially today. We had some issues technically, and after that we had some more. But then eventually we arrived at a point where we can all be kind of okay with the quality we have now. All the suffering of not able to travel at the moment. Yeah, I mean, we could here in Japan for most areas. I mean, maybe not recommended to go to Tokyo now because it's still state of emergency, but other areas we could. If you are prosecuted in Japan, it is 99% guaranteed you will be sentenced. Due to the fear of losing face, they only prosecute you in guaranteed win cases. Yes, that's what I heard as well. So, yeah, don't get prosecuted. One time I was in Kyoto and I saw somebody all of a sudden running away. But the police got him, and he was smoking marijuana. So maybe he might have been prosecuted. I don't know. I remember seeing him in the police box, and kind of somebody like scolding him, and he was like quiet, maybe even disinterested. Yeah, but don't bring drugs to Japan, even if it's legal in your country. I mean, recreational drugs like marijuana or something. Yeah, I should next time. I will make sure I'm in focus and the audio is good. And maybe we will be in the other room again with a bit more interesting background, not just a wall. I'm sitting on the floor, by the way, in case you didn't notice. And then, since currently there are no new messages, let me talk about what's coming up. So I filmed the Q&A finally. Not really satisfied yet. So, and as I mentioned before, one sequence, which is maybe 5 minutes or so, I have to reshoot because it was not in focus. And yeah, not really. It's very one-sided because one answer to a question takes up most of the time. I imagine maybe 12 minutes, and 9 of those are for this one question, which is my process for making a YouTube video, which is a long process. That's why it takes long to answer. But yeah, not really sure. Maybe I take in some other questions after that to make it more balanced. But then it gets 20 minutes. I'm not sure. By the way, since I think Daniel, you asked, the title will be probably Saving Struggling Japanese Businesses. It's not a question about gear, but have you ever been in Saitama? If I should visit it here, thank you for the answer. Yeah, no worries. You can ask anything. That's usually how I talk about a given topic in the beginning, and then it's free, whatever, wherever you, the audience, drives the conversation. So I have been to Saitama. Yeah, one of my wife's family members lived there, and we visited. And we also passed through when we go from Tokyo to Nagano and back. And then, oh yeah, my late Aikido teacher used to live there, so I went there also for like nomikai drinking event once. But that's all. I can't say anything about Saitama as in you should go there or visit this place or so. The worst practice is that they can hold you for 36 hours, or 36, not 24, before they must release you. But what they do is then arrest you again on different charges outside the station. Do this over and over. How fun. I have one person I talked to is Indian, and he's like, he just acts like he can't speak Japanese when they talk to him, even though he can. And then usually they leave him alone. Looking forward to the new video. Excellent. Maybe, probably. Yes, probably. Because this one question about the YouTube process is so long, 9 minutes, I may change it to that, even though I don't want to. Because it's just like fits more, right? If you click a video that says saving struggling Japanese businesses, and then it's like 80% of the video is something else. I don't know. But of course, this topic is also addressed, so maybe okay. And I feel like that's more attractive to click, especially for my audience. You need to clickbait it up like the other people do. There we go. So that. Yeah, the last video did well though, thankfully. The last one has like 7% or so click-through rate, which is pretty good. More than average on my channel. Yeah. The end of Japan, or is it? Yeah. Well, I'm saving Japan. Thinking about when did I do something really clickbait? Not sure. I'm not sure actually. We see what has it. Then we see which video is the most clicked, then get quickly. I have to search later, but yeah, I can't remember. I can't come up with any video I did, but really, really clickbait. Where it's like borderline lying. So I guess it could be something positive. Okay, thank you, Red 1110M. Have a good night or day, and see you again soon. A fun video could be expected: Japan versus real Japan. The people idolize Japanese life, and what life is really like. Yeah, that's true, and probably also successful. Because I had a video called Low Tech Japan about like an area, a portion of this real Japan, and idolized. Like everybody thinks Japan is high tech and so on, robots and all that. And while it's true, there are robots and technology and so on, there's also some very low tech things like fax machines and hanpo and so on. And this went well. Got like 50,000 views in 2 days, or 4 days. So I imagine this could go well. indeed. Top 10 reasons why you will not come to Japan. Ha, that's bad. Reason number 1, coronavirus. Do you feel awkward when trying to film inside? Do you often have to ask for permission? I think I've never, I mean, sometimes it just makes sense, especially if it's a small shop, like just asking, can I take a picture? That's the job usually, if you don't talk to the camera. But if you're in a shop and talk, yeah, I don't like that. Even if it's like a big like Don Quixote or something, supermarket thing, I don't like it. And yeah, I like to get permission. Your most clickbait video was when you quit YouTube for 3 days. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. A bit of clickbait is fine as long as you kind of deliver. Yeah, I also think so. Like, yeah, essentially. I agree. Yeah, but when I quit YouTube, the final video. True. The best is there. Yeah, nothing to clickbait other than that. For that one, I wasn't too sure if it's. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, the video itself delivered, kind of, the explanation and so on. And then after that, of course, when I said, yeah, I will, it was the final video and the last location. It was a little bit like, maybe a couple of people then disliked that video because of that, but I don't know. Right, so it's almost 1 p.m., 1 a.m. in Japan, and I have to. Okay, do you do a lot of color grading on your video or deliver a shot? I do. No, I don't do a lot of color grading. So every now and then I experiment, but in the end, I don't like it. So for when it's from this camera, then I don't color grade a lot. I correct also as little as I can. So I ideally I have this in the shot somewhere at some point. So this neutral gray and the white, and the other side has correct colors. So that means I can adjust. I can correct the shot to have correct colors or to have neutral whites for white balance, and then it looks. Then it's correct. Correct colors. That's color correction. After that, it's color grading, giving it my own look, like on Instagram. If you apply a filter, that's essentially that. But usually I go just with this. So as you may see, most of my videos look more or less like this. However, if I use this camera and this camera, oops, this camera, then I need to match them, and they're so different, and it's really hard sometimes. Therefore, also for these, if I have this color checker in the picture, then it gets easy. Yeah. But I don't do a lot of color grading. And I wanted to say, before that, other question. It's 1 p.m. almost, so I would slowly call it a day, a night. Any last questions? Let me know. And if not, excuse again the issues we had today. Late start, the out of focus picture, the bad audio, and then next time, hopefully, all of this will be fixed. Okay, thank you for being here yet again. And Daniel, of course, Thank you for the kind donation. Yeah, so these color checkers are, you would think, right, it's just like a couple of colors. However, they are correct colors. So that means that's not, usually if you print, you have 3 colors, right, and you mix them to make a color. But these are all separate inks, essentially, which makes these apparently super expensive. They cost like $150. These from this company, at least. I think there's like also some for $100, but still like for a piece of colored paper or so, it's not paper, plastic or whatever, material. I feel it's quite pricey, but it's also good to have. And it's also still, it's also not super easy to use. The issue is you have to have it in the same lighting as your talent, which is me in this case. So I need to have it like here. So just before then we record this, put it away, then I start and deliver whatever I want to say. And then in post with this frame, I can get in and adjust everything to be correct. Yeah. So that's it. All right. You made it, Ninja Monkey, just about exactly. The stream is ending. How are you in Gibraltar? How any side effects from vaccination? Just finished work. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, for me here it's almost 1 a.m. So kind of time to go. 0 side effects. Nice. Good to hear you're happy. And then, well, with that, I would say thank you all for being here tonight and have a great day and a great week. So that, thank you for watching and then see you next time.